This is not a pipe. Also known as Sesiun Paun Pipe. I totally probably pronounced that completely incorrectly, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Space unicorn, soaring through the stars, delivering the rainbows all around the world. Space unicorn, shining in the night, smiles and hugs forever all around the world. So pure of heart and strong of mind, so true of aim with his marshmallow laser. Marshmallow laser.
Hello, minions. Today I'm going to be talking about The Fault in Our Stars. I just finished up the book yesterday, actually, and I'm just going to say right off the bat, it was absolutely amazing. But before I get to any of that, I just want to start right off into awesomeness and talking about that so that I can just kind of start from the beginning, I guess. Hey, look, I can see myself in the reflection of my glasses. And then my reflection has a reflection on the glasses. It's like reflection-inception. Anyway, well, the point of the matter is the guy is a genius, absolute genius in writing. He uses a little bit of long words at times that I don't necessarily think a teenager would necessarily use, but realize also that people are dying, so their thoughts are a little bit more like, I almost want to say like more divine in nature. And at the same time, obviously it's a little bit more dark and depressing and disturbing, but they're thinking about higher things, and so I guess he was trying to show they're thinking about higher things. A little bit of a more, I'm not sure what the word I'm trying to use is. Hey, I'm not as good as a writer as he is. My mind's just kind of going blank. Don't look at me like your mind's never gone blank. You know it's gone blank. You know. I'm looking at you, you know. Anyway, the book is awesome. Yeah, as I said, he's a genius. He knows perfectly how to craft his words. There's not a single thing in that book that did not make it totally, completely, unexpectedly, and completely expectedly awesome. Well, there are some things, but I'll get to them later. This book had me laughing at moments and crying at the next one, so I'm pretty sure the people who were sitting there in Barnes & Noble probably thought that I was completely insane. Because one moment I'm like... Next moment I'm like... and they're probably just like... This guy's a psycho. Not to say that I'm not completely a psycho, but... You know, there is one like super sketch scene in my personal opinion. As a Christian, I don't necessarily think you should have put that in there. I don't think it was necessary completely to the story that point was in there, but it definitely felt like something that the characters would actually do. So I don't really know necessarily if I can really blame him for it, mainly because I'm not allowed to judge. You know. I also want to add that there's actually one scene that actually blows the F-bomb in this book. I'm just going to let you know, there is no legitimate reason in my mind for that person not to be blowing the F-bomb in that specific spot in that book. The person literally has an infected G-tube out of their stomach at this point and has been having it out for quite some time. I think in that particular situation, I'd probably be blowing a lot more than just one F-bomb. So I can't really say anything against the guy in adding that little part of the scene because it's very, very realistic. So just to... add to that point, the book is not for everybody. Like, if you're a little bit worried about like being offended, this book is not for you because it will offend a lot of people. But he does a great job with it. There's some humor. Like, I personally thought it was really funny. I love the humor in it. But some people would probably just be like, "Oh, that's so disturbing. That's so weird." It's awesome humor, people. Don't try and mess with a good thing. I personally imagine that is honestly very realistic to the way that a cancer patient thinks. In that. It's similar, kind of, I suppose, to depression. There are a lot of similar ways of thinking, I think. You feel like there's no point to life. You feel like it's all going downhill. And you start to question, what is the point of everything that I'm doing in life? Why? What is my purpose? Do I even need a purpose? What kind of thing is going on there? And they ask those questions, and... I think they provide very worldly answers to them, but they don't necessarily provide Christian answers to them just because neither of the characters in the book are, like, really Christians, I would say, in that they believe in a literal heaven or that Jesus saves and things like that. There's definitely some Christian references in the book, including the literal heart of Jesus, which I thought was a really funny reference. But the book itself is not in a Christian viewpoint. So I would warn you there. So, concluding with that, I would suggest the book to nearly everybody, just because some people it might offend, in some places with its humor. But I think that the book was geniusly written. I would suggest it to anybody who is willing to go through that, because it was geniusly written. I love John Green. I love his videos. I'm very proud of the fact that he has his Christian faith with him, and I cannot wait to continue reading more of his books. I probably think the one that has Alaska in the title is probably going to be the next one that I read of his, if I can actually find it. So thank you guys very much for listening, and have a odd and awesome day.